Miguel Diaz was and still is my predicted winner for the Sekai Taikai in Cobra Kai's final season. Going into the season, the obvious favourites for winning the tournament were Miguel, Sam, Tori and Robbie. Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 1 ended with the impression that Miguel is no longer in the running, but I'm not convinced.
I'm not convinced!
With Robbie getting a massive win over Miguel in a heated contest at the Miyagi-Do dojo, Tanner Buchanan's character completely changed the narrative involving Miguel. Before his loss, he was arguably in the strongest position to win the Sekai Taikai, but now the series has indicated that Robbie is actually the superior fighter. But what's even more consequential for Miguel than that is how the rules of the Sekai Taikai work. Based on what's been established, Robbie is supposedly the only male competitor on their team that technically can win it all. Before Cobra Kai Season 6 started, I was of the opinion that Miguel, being the character who kicked off the story in the first place, would be the one who would ultimately win the Sekai Taikai for Johnny and Daniel's dojo. To me, the skills he's displayed throughout the series, including his victory over Robbie in Cobra Kai Season 5, validated that theory. This scenario may seem less likely now, but from my perspective, the prospect of Miguel winning became even stronger. Because now, Miguel perfectly fits the mold of a Karate Kid protagonist. There was a time when Miguel's story paralleled Daniel LaRusso's journey in The Karate Kid, but the character has evolved well beyond that point in Season 6. As the winner of the first tournament and a few other major fights, Miguel was hardly a character anyone would underestimate, which was the source of my one doubt about him winning the Sekai Taikai. But after what happened in his fight with Robbie, it's much easier to see Miguel in the underdog role. Not only is he perceived as second to Robbie, but he's not even expecting to compete in the individual competitions. At its heart, The Karate Kid, much like Rocky, is an underdog story. In the movie, Daniel LaRusso was physically weaker than Johnny Lawrence and someone with only a few weeks of training going up against the defending All-Valley champion. Johnny had every advantage in his favour at the tournament, yet it was Daniel who walked away with the championship. Cobra Kai would have struggled to go down this path with Miguel at the Sekai Taikai, but having him lose to Robbie should help build his underdog status.
It's not the size of that dog in a fight, boy. It's the size of fighting a dog.
According to the rules laid out in the show, only the male and female captains get to compete in the one-on-one tournament format. This seemingly ruled out Miguel even having a shot at the title, but I still see a way for it to work. Were Robbie to sustain an injury or pull out of the tournament for some other reason, it makes sense that his spot in the bracket would have been filled by Miyagi-Do's next best fighter, which would of course be Miguel. Miguel replacing an injured Robbie is anything but a far-fetched hypothetical scenario. Such a twist happening would be right in line with Season 6 connections to Season 4. From the looks of things, Cobra Kai is going out of its way to recreate the circumstances of Season 4's All-Valley Karate Tournament. During the event, Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do were rivals for the championship, Johnny and Daniel were on bad terms, and Tori and Sam were clearly headed for a collision in the finals. In all three of these areas, history looks set to repeat itself. With that in mind, it's worth wondering if the parallels of Cobra Kai Season 4 will extend to Miguel's role. In the tournament, Miguel withdrew from the semi-finals, paving the way for his opponent Hawk to take what likely would have been his place in the finals against Robbie. Based on everything it's already borrowed from Season 4, it's not hard to imagine Season 6 taking a page from this development as well, with Robbie, rather than Miguel, taking a heavy hit and the team needing someone else to step up for the final match. Strengthening that possibility is what Cobra Kai has revealed about Kreese's team. Quan's vicious beating of Yoon provided an early look at what he's capable of and how far he's willing to go to win. And considering what Mike Barnes said about how brutal the fighting can be, I think Quan can get away with a lot of things that wouldn't be permitted in most cases. That could wind up including some excessively violent attacks against members of Miyagi-Do's team, specifically Robbie, since he would be Quan's opponent in the individual competition.
I'm in danger!
Additionally, I don't believe that Miguel becoming the hero of the tournament is completely reliant on the prospect of him filling in for Robbie. Another avenue toward that could come in the form of the team events teased for the Sekai Taikai. Presumably alongside Robbie and his other 4 teammates, Miguel will participate in team matches against the various Sekai Taikai teams. Though the tournament representative indicated that the individual competitions are more important because that's where the spotlight will be, it's possible that the championship will wind up coming down to who prevails in the team events. Similar to Season 4's tournament, multiple factors could decide the winning team, especially if the male and female individual competitions don't end in the same team obtaining first place. Because of that, Cobra Kai could make a team match fight with the highest stakes in the tournament. Whether that battle is an all-out 6-on-6 fight or a 2-on-2 matchup, it could end up with Miguel and perhaps Quan as the last fighters standing. If that happens, I can picture Miguel as the de facto winner of the Sekai Taikai and the key to their team becoming world champions.
The winner